Welcome to another edition of Extensive Chat. My name is Nana Kwesi Kumsin, and today we are coming to you live from Twin Cities Special School. This is a school for children with intellectual disability, and want to know a typical life at a facility like this. And today we are talking to the headmistress, Mrs. Crescentia Bills inside. We want to know what exactly happens here. We go into the classrooms to know a typical life at a school for children with intellectual disability. Welcome, madam.
Thank you.
So,
okay, start.
So how long have you been here?
Just 2 years.
As the headmistress?
Yes, please. I was a headmistress at Catholic Vocational, and I was transferred in 2016 when the headmistress here went on retirement. So
you've never taught at school for children with intellectual disability?
Oh, I've been with school with intellectual disability for 5 years. That's Catholic Special Vocational School at Fujai. Right. Before I was transferred here. And before I became the headmistress, I was the special education coordinator at Shama District Office, Education Office. Before I became the headmistress.
Wow. So why did you choose that area?
You know, it is an interest. And at first, I went to do vision, that's blind education, because I wanted to know why they were able to move. Because I always get surprised and amazed when I see them moving, and wherever they are, you see them, some of them alone, and the way they dress. So I went in to do blind education. But when I finished, when I completed and I came to Takoradi, I saw that there wasn't any blind school here. So I became a coordinator. And with a coordinator, or as a resource or coordinator, you have to do all the aspects. Because we have 3 categories, that's the hearing, then we have the blind education and intellectual disability. But at Takoradi, we have only the deaf and intellectual disability. And before you can go to any of the deaf school, you have to know the sign language. And know that for sign language, we did the prayers. So when I came, I can't sign as those who did it to the final year. So I chose to. And when I was at the office, we do everything. We go around to assess the children. So later on, when I had the opportunity to be the headmistress, the school I went there was intellectual disability school. So I have to go back and do my master's in intellectual disability. Because I've already gotten the background when we went to the first year. We did all the aspects, so I was able to. So
curiosity led you into this field?
Yes, please.
Wow. So you have a master's in
intellectual disability.
When we say when we are talking about intellectual disability, what exactly is it?
We normally say those whose mind is below the average. It's not like the normal children, how they learn. We cannot absorb that way. Our mind is lower, at the lower level, that we cannot do writing and other things like the regular schools. So in the normal, that's what I would say about intellectual disability.
So let's look
it's not that we say mental retardation. So it's not that they are mad, because we have mental illness. Ours is not mental illness, but it's intellectual disability. Ours doesn't have cure. But with the mental illness, it has cure.
Okay.
So to the layman, that's how I will explain it for everybody to understand.
So you're talking about they're not learning like the normal people.
Yes.
So what do you really learn here?
At the basis we do arithmetics and basis of English. Then we do what we do here is self-help skills. As in our curriculum, we say social studies. But when we talk of self-help skills, we train the children in all the activities, and specifically on how they can keep themselves, how they dress, how they can bath, how they can move in the society. This is what we teach the children basically, so that they can also move independently when they are in the house, so that they will not be found wanting, or they will be deviate from the norm of the society.
So basically they come to school, say 3 months, to learn how to bath,
yes,
how to walk, how to talk.
Yes.
That is what they do.
Yes.
So how is their curriculum? How is it written?
We do individualized educational plan. When the parent brings the children, we do educational assessment. And before you come in, we have to go to the hospital for you to be screened and be assessed medically. So when they refer you to our school, we do educational assessment. So when we assess you and we see that you fit into our the school, then we place you. So we interact with the parents to know where we should start, because some of them will come and they already know how to sweep. So it's not necessary that you are going to teach the child what you should how to sweep. So we do individualized educational plan in the classroom. So even if they are 10, we have a way of teaching everybody. Maybe you came in because you don't know how to bath. So in the classroom too, we have to teach you how to bath. I came in because I don't know how to dress. So the teacher has to teach me how to dress. So every day we have a way of teaching them individually. We don't teach them together. Though you see them in the classroom, but it's individualized teaching.
Is it difficult teaching them?
It's difficult. Because as we are saying, if it's bathing, you can take a whole year depending on the ability of the child. So that's why we place them. So depending on the ability of the child, that will help you to know that I have to move on or I have to go back. Sometimes you teach them, the child will come from the house, the same thing, you have to do it again.
How many of them? How many children are here? How many?
We are 150.
150?
Yes.
And how many teachers?
Teachers, we are 13, including myself.
13?
Yes, please.
Wow. So what are the struggles?
It's two, we have the teaching and non-teaching. So the non-teaching also have their own routine activity or responsibility that they do. So here the teachers take them in the classroom for the educational aspect. Then the non-teaching, we have house mothers who takes care of them. They are the mothers of the children. So they take them through their morning activities like bathing, waking them up, having morning devotions and those things. They see to it that they come to school to learn. So they prepare them at home as we do at our individual homes. So they also have their social duties that they do. Some of them sweep the rooms. We teach them how to lay the bed. So you see that we start from the dormitory to the classroom. So if the house mothers are training them, maybe this person is supposed to lay bed and he is not doing it well, the mother will complain to you. So that when he comes to the classroom, the teacher will also continue with whatever he's supposed to do. Aside what maybe the child came from the house where you the teacher has started. So that is it. But it's very challenging.
Yeah, and we'll come to that. Let's look at the house mothers. Do they have some special training? Did they go through the usual education like you did, or just any other person?
They don't go through the education that we did, but when we recruit them, we give them in-service training. So here, every Friday, we have in-service training that we do. So we look at the aspect that they are lacking, then we train them. But before you be the warehouse mother, we have to give you about 1 month in-service training for you to equip yourself with the children.
So we've been here, we've been monitoring your assembly, your dining sessions. I can tell that you need some special temperament to deal with these kids. Have you encountered somebody who wasn't able to have that temperament to take care of them?
No. That thing, we don't have it here. Because the moment you enter this campus, you have that temperament. No matter if you are even quick-tempered, when you come here, your temper will go down. Because you should be able to, you should be able to cope with them. Even some of last week, even some of them throw stick. The mother was dressing some of them, but the other one, he said he did something, and the mother was talking about, because he was annoyed, he just throw stick, and the stick hit the mother's head, but he did not do anything to the boy. I came out and he just complained to me. So that time we have to bring you to the class and we discipline you.
Yeah, we saw some of the teachers holding canes. Do you cane them?
We don't cane them, but we just use it to threaten them. You see, as you were saying, when you came, you see that some of them were outside. If you don't drive them and you using your mouth to go in, they will just take you for granted. So sometimes when they see you holding the cane, it's urge them to go inside.
You're talking about disciplining them in the classroom. What sort of discipline?
Oh, we talk to them. Sometimes we ask you to kneel down for you to see that what you do, or we tell you to go and beg. These are some of the things that we do, but not caning them.
All right, so with the admissions, let's look at the least age and the ages that you admit. At what ages? Because
we start from 6 years.
6 years.
Yes. To 18 years.
To 18.
Yes, please.
So you have 6 years.
Yes.
People here.
Yes.
Wow. So what are the process people go through to pick admission? Or
that's what I'm saying. After we have finished with the medical assessment, when we come, we look at it. Whether you have, because we cannot just say that your child is intellectual disability.
So the medical aspect is neurology. So
yes.
Okay.
So they will do it at the hospital. Then they will refer you to our school. So ours is educational. So when you are coming for admission, you have to come with the child. Because we have to assess the child and see whether the child fits into our education system. So we assess the child, then we fill forms. There are certain questions we ask you. That's why I said that will urge us to know where we are supposed to start from. So the mother will come with the child, or both parents will come. Then we ask you the initial say what happened before the child become a disability child. All this thing, you give us the background, the history of the child. Then we ask you what you have been doing with the child, or what you have been doing for the child. Then we also advise you. So if the child comes and the child is not toilet trained, that you cannot go to toilet, some of them soil themselves, then we advise you and we tell you what you should do. So every morning we communicate with them. Because with that, we ask you to send the child home for 2 weeks. Go and train the child before you bring the child to the school. You know, most of the parents pamper their children. So when they come to school and you give them instructions for the first 2 weeks or something, you see that they fool. So when you come, we have to put you on your toes that you are in school. Because sometimes in the house, some of them will sleep and get up around 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock. But if we are in school, we get up 4:30, 5 o'clock. We have to get up and start our routine activity.
Daily routine activities. What really causes this intellectual disability?
That time we have a lot. We have a prenatal, peri, and post. That's the prenatal. When the mother is pregnant, what you go through. Some of them doesn't go to hospital. They don't attend antenatals, I should say, taking their medicine, and it's a problem for them. Eating their nutritive value food, they don't take it. Some of them will just take raw gari and others, and it affects the children. As we all know, you know that the head develops first. So if you don't eat nutritive food, you don't take your medicine, you don't attend antenatal clinic and others for your advice, the child can develop that. And when we are going to give birth to, or whilst in the process, your food, everything, maybe you get accidents, it can affect the child. The way you take care of yourself it can also affect the child while the child is in the womb. And before you can give birth, when you go to the hospital, you know, sometimes delay labor. We, the women, when some of them too, because of some pampering, when you tell the person to push or something, they don't want to do it. So that we have some fluid that can enter the child's nose, and the child can become disability child. And not only ours, it's both deaf and blind, and we all have the same causes.
So basically, it's with the pregnancy and taking care of it.
Yes, and when you give birth to from age 1 to 18, any of the causes, measles causes it, convulsion causes it, the food they eat, how we care for the child. Because if you leave the child in the hands of the other kids, they can doing the child. I mean, when the child falls on the ground, maybe they will not tell you, but it will affect the child. So these are some of the things that happen. So we have accidents and others. There are causes.
So with the student here, do you have autistic? You have epileptic?
Yes, we have. Some of them are physically handicapped and still they are also mental. You know, the physical people, they are sound. The physical people, they are sound. They go to the regular school. They are the people who use crutches. But we still have some of them here who use crutches and wheelchairs that are also mentally or intellectual disability children here. So that's what we term as handicap. Some of them are as we are saying, they are autistic children here, and they are physically challenged too. Some of them have low vision and they are intellectual disabled. That's what we say, they are multiple handicap.
Yeah, when we are coming, we see some of them in chairs where there's a padlock on the chair. Why do you do that?
Those people are hyperactive children. Even if you ask them to sit down, they will not sit down. And once they have come here, we have to let them know that we have a timetable that we go to. You can't just come here. They are here for a purpose. They come here and every parent brings the child here and you want to see some development in the child. So we ask the children, the parents themselves to do that such chair for them so that they will be able to sit in the classroom and learn. And when we do that, it brings them back that no, from this time to this time, I have to be on my chair. This time to this time, I have
they
to.
know.
They know. When you train, it's a training. So when it gets to a time, they will know that I have to, from maybe 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I have to be in the classroom in my chair. From 10 o'clock going, I have to go out for break. So that's why we make those chairs for. Other than that, they won't stay in the classroom. They will be roaming about till daybreak.
So with the 150 children, are all of them boarders?
We have about 10 who are not boarders.
So like 140 are here?
Yes.
In how many dormitories?
We have 3 dormitories.
3 dormitories?
Yes.
How many for the males? How do they sleep?
The female are upstairs with me, though they have mothers. I'm at one side of it, and the mother is also with one side of them, so that the two of us can coordinate and take care of them. But the hands are limited, and the
so
boys are down.
You lodge here too?
Yes, and the boys are down. So the whole down floor is for the boys.
Let's look at the females. When they are having their menstruation and all that, how are you able to?
Oh, because of training, we have trained them, and it will surprise you that they don't soil themselves. Because early morning when they see, they will report. Even if they are in the classroom, they will tell the teachers that Mimbo Java. So they know that the moment they see blood, it means they are menstruating. So they inform the mother, and the mother will give them pad to use. But only that they misuse it. When they urinate and they see blood, they have to throw it away and come for another one. So they don't soil themselves.
So with the parent cooperative?
Yes.
Children?
With some of them.
And what about the other son, other half?
Now, whatever you tell them, because we have PTA meetings and we have been hammering on some of these things. Example like the health insurance. At first we do it for them free, but later on, last term, what came up was before we can renew their health insurance, we have to go and seek permission from social welfare. They also send it to Accra for permission before they can renew it. So at PTA meeting, I hammered there that when you bring your child without health insurance, here we don't take fees. So we can't send the child to the hospital again to pay. Because some of them, when even they come and we have sent the child to hospital, and they are supposed to bring them and they don't bring it. So we hammered there, but it will surprise you that they came with the health insurance without renewing it. So even yesterday, I left the hospital around 12 o'clock because some of them were sick and we have to send them. And because the mothers are not many to take care of them, I have to drive myself with the children to the place. And it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't, because I saw that when I asked the mothers to go, the female, the woman is taking care of 54 children. And you ask the mother to send about 3 of them to the hospital, the rest will take care of them. So I have to take it upon myself. And the compound, we don't have accommodation, so the staff, they don't stay here. Wow. So as at now, it's one of the classrooms there that we asked 2 of the teachers to stay there, 1 female and 1 male. But it was unfortunate that the female traveled to the hometown, and the other man too was going to, he was on official duty. So it was around 9 o'clock that he came and he has to join me at the hospital. But we are lucky that the mother is around and she was also a teacher. So the woman went there this morning to take care before we even went there. So this morning I asked one of the teachers to send some of the children to the hospital, and she told me the mother is already there.
I don't have provision of first aid kits.
We have. So when it happens like that, in the dormitories they have, and in the classrooms we have a teacher who is responsible for the first aid. So when they are in the classroom, they report to the teacher. They know where they should go. And when they go to their dormitories too, they report to the mothers. Every mother has a first aid box.
You're talking about no school fees. So what do the parents pay?
The parents, they don't pay anything.
Nothing at all.
But when you come for admission, that one, you know, the uniforms, not the Kokonte and Katamkwan, but we have other uniforms that can identify us, like our print.
Check.
Yes. Even the check, we ask them to. So we have our print like this. That one we have to pay. We have our PE kits and others that you have to pay. So that one you pay.
Okay.
And so the rest are the responsibility of the government.
So you're under the government?
Yes, we are under the government.
So you receive money, feeding grants.
We don't government. We know that government is doing all that he can, and other people too come in to help. Not in terms of money, but they come in foodstuffs and other for us to supplement with it.
But does it come often, the feeding grant?
Oh, as I'm speaking now, the government is not owing us. We have paid all our debts, but we are looking up to him for this term, and we know he's preparing to bring it.
So it comes every 3 months, every
3 months, because we spend 3 months in the school, so every business comes.
Yeah, I'm aware you went on air soliciting for money to buy meat and other things. What are some of the challenges here?
But those times, you know, the money wasn't coming. So in fact, we were tight at the corner, so we have to go in and solicit. But you know that, as I'm saying that, when they paid all our debt, we have not come to air. No special school has come out to complain that we need meat or we need this thing.
So take us through some of the challenges here.
Our major challenge here is the accommodation for the staff. You know, if the staff were to be here, they will cooperate with us, so that if there's any serious accident or something, they will come in to come. But we don't have any staff staying on campus. The two I said are staying in one of the classrooms. That's what we have given to them. And our second distance, we don't have infirmary here. We need infirmary so that maybe if the nurses are here, they can also take good care of the children before, if it's any serious thing, before we refer the children to the hospital. So infirmary is also our challenge.
And with these kids, do you have any special diets for them? Do you prepare them?
Yes, some of them are on special diets. Some of them say they don't eat maize.
They react to it.
They react to it. Some of them beans. So when we prepare beans, we either give them rice or we give them curry photo. Those who doesn't take some of the corn or maize food, those people we give them during breakfast. Either you give them tea or oats. So these are some of the things that we do. There are certain stews that some of them doesn't take. Like somebody will come and say that I don't take cabbage stew, so we prepare maybe gravy and others for them.
No. So you have to really suit their dietary needs.
Yes.
Wow. It's interesting. So the challenges. I think you're being moderate with the challenges.
I'm not being moderate. That's why I said that the aspect that we need most is the accommodation and the infirmary. But the rest, if you want to say that, you know, the children, because they are not normal in quote children as we, they are distracted. They are very, very distracted. Even now we have the plumber sitting now. The plumber is not a worker here, but we always employ him outside to come and work for us. And when they come, they even complain because they will finish this one today. Before they move to the next one, you go back and you see that somebody has just entered to spoil the one they have done. Even the bulbs, they can just take sticks to hit the bulbs. So when you come at night, the dining hall, the bulbs are off. They throw stones, even our cars, they throw stones to hit our cars to destroy them. Whoa. They are very, very destructive. Somebody can just get up at night, go and open the tap, then start fetching water, throwing it at the dormitory. And yes, there's nothing you can do. You can't send the person to the police station. So you have to, you can't cane the child. Because they think that they are doing the right thing. Because some of them can't sleep. So whatever you will do to make him, motivate him or herself, that's what they do. So some of these things that they do, we think that they are destroying, but they think that they are motivating themselves with it. They think it's the right thing. So we tell them that this, what you have done is no good. So do this, do that. So it's a training.
So how long does it take to really correct them?
It's not one day. That's what I'm saying. Because it's a burden, and when we give them the training, they go back. They don't get the same training at home. The parents will have seen that it's not their fault. Because if you are staying with them in the house, they come to your room, they destroy your things. A compound house like that, the mother or father will not get a sound mind. So when the children feel they are going out, they just leave them to go out. And when they go out, that's why we see them dancing outside, and they like music. So some of the things that we taught them, when they go out, they don't continue with it. So they come back with the same thing. We have to go back teaching them. So it takes a longer time for them to adopt.
You're talking about the live music. What's your type of entertainment? Do you have Saturdays entertainment just like any other boarding school, like the SHS?
Actually, that's a challenge to us, because as I'm saying that we don't stay on campus, and I'm the only person, I don't know how even to operate the system and the machine. So on Saturdays, weekends, actually the children are just here, they play football. The main sort of entertainment is playing of football and watching telly. But if somebody comes in to visit and they play music, you see that when they see visitors, they become happy. So once in a while, some people come to visit us and we play music, they dance with them. And as you are our PR, as you have been doing for us.
So we are really interested. And we've seen a lot of challenges. We've seen a lot of, some things we are not used to. We saw them reciting the national anthem, the pledge, and they have their own way of reciting.
Yes. They have, and even you saw that some of them, when they are not in the mood, and they have their own way. So when it comes like that, we don't force them. But if you push them to assembly, they won't come. They will see their friends there, but they feel that today I'm on my own world, so this is what I feel like doing. So we have to be driving them. That's why you saw the cane, so that the person will say, hey, if I don't go, because maybe they cane them at home, so they see that cane, if they take it, they are going to cane you. So that helps us to drive them. Other than that, you see some of them doing their own things. Even in the classroom, some of them can tell them, my bro, so they won't learn. They will be outside. So they are on their own well. So when they become like that, we don't force them.
So do you teach them with English or Fanti or what dialect or what language?
We merge them, Fanti and English.
How is that possible?
It's possible. Because when we are explaining, in the house, most of them, some of the children went through preparatory school and others, and the parents speak the English with them. So when they come, and we see that this child is the English that they use. If we are communicating with such a child, it's English that we use. And others too, we see that they will be learning some vocabulary from it. So when we go to the classroom and we are teaching, like phone, maybe you don't have the English name for it, so you definitely use the English word for phone for them. So we use the tool for them to understand whatever we want them to do. And our teaching too is practical. We have to bring the practical things to the classroom for them to know.
So do you have head preferred, do you have class preferred, those kind of things? Do you have it here?
Yeah, we appoint them. Some of them themselves appoint themselves that they are seniors. Because some of them have been here for maybe 10 years and they are old. So they are seniors. So they also help us. So they are the senior prefects and others that we have. They help us to even regulate the young ones. Those new ones that came in, that comes in, they know that we are not supposed to do this. They are not, so even if we are not with them in the dormitory, they also teach them what they should do.
At what point do they graduate?
They are supposed to graduate when you get to the upper class. We have class 6.
So it's class 1, class 2,
class 3. Class 1 A and B up to class, so we promote them. When we are in class 1 and we see that we are picking up, then we send them to the next class, we promote them. So when we get to classes we have vocational. So at the vocational class, we give them pre-vocation, then we move you to other side as vocational teacher. But most of the parents, even if you ask them to move them, they don't go. Because they say when they come and look at the environment, they want their children to be here. Because where we send them, the place has not been fenced. So thinking that their children will run away. Even here, some of them make the attempt of running away.
Have you encountered that before?
Yes.
Did you get the person back?
Yes. There's a boy here who is known as Tete. Everybody knows Tete as Sekondi. He used to run away when he came to the boarding house. Sometimes you will watch in the classroom, tell you that, oh, I'm going to UB and those things. If he sees that maybe the security has just passed at the corner, then he will just run. And sometimes to the tricks that he uses, when they hang the things, he would throw the things outside the wall, so that maybe you say that I'm going to move them, then but when he goes home, the mother is also very caring. Sometimes when we will see that Tete is not in, we are tracing Tete, the mother will also see Tete and bring Tete back. And some of the children today will just move out knowing because somebody is going, they have to also go out. But normally we see them and we bring them back.
This is Extensive Chat, and we are talking to Mrs. Christianshia A4 Bills inside. She is the headmistress of Twin City Special School. This is the school for children with intellectual disability, and we are sponsored by Salvi Foodstuff, PK Worldwide, Chrisland TV, 233times.com, holynews.blogspot.com, Westline Entertainment, and a host, Food Chopsters, and a host of others. We are still curious to know what happens here at Twin City Special School. These are children who need a lot of attention and who need a lot of special needs. So when they talk about special needs, what are the special needs?
When we talk of special needs children, it's not only our school. We have a lot, even those on the streets, they are also special needs children. They need care. Because if they will not be roaming on the street. So the street children are also special needs children. So when we talk of special needs children, people who need care, who need support, people to support, because maybe the parents are poor and they cannot even support them in school. So these are the people that we say they are special needs children. So it's not basically to our intellectual disability children.
But they are also part of
yes, they are also, that's what I'm saying, that special education is broad.
Yeah.
That's why I've given you an example that street children are also included in our education sector.
So if anybody wants to help, what exactly do you need help with?
Normally we have the I would say complex or huge items that we need, like the infirmary. If somebody can sponsor us, a company or something, we will accept it. Now even in our dormitories, the beds that they sleep on is limited because some is wood and some of them have gotten spots. And you know, these students, they even spoil it themselves. So now some of them, though we are still doing admission, people come in but we don't have beds for them to sleep on. We need mattresses. Those who have been here for past 10 years, 5 years, at first we don't ask any parent to bring mattress. So the mattresses there are limited. When I came, I met some mattresses which are larger than the best. So when they put it in, you know, it's strips, and when they sleep on it, you see they have pains and they complain. So we want those ones that can fit into the beds.
The mattresses.
The mattresses that can fit into the beds. So now in our classroom sector too, like the junior classes, class 1 KG class, they need chairs. The chairs that they are using there is not enough and it's not comfortable for them. So we need chairs that will help them to learn well in the classrooms.
Yeah, so we want to really have
food items. For the children, no, though government is doing it best, our children, they eat a lot. So anytime we have to supplement it, we have to add more. If they are not satisfied with whatever they eat, in fact, we can't cope with the situation.
Oh, they do?
Yes. They can come and, yes.
They can come and
they will come and tell you, they say their feelings. They come to the office and say whatever they like to you. Classroom. And I said, for the if they feel that they don't like this food, they know that they are in school, so you have to change it for them. It's their right. They feel that it's their right that if they don't like this food, you have to change it for them.
Wow. Wow. They are bold.
Yeah, they are bold. It's their school. So whatever they like, you have to provide for them. And we are also ready to provide whatever, unless what they have asked we don't have, or what they have asked when we give it to them to harm them. That one we won't.
So a typical breakfast, what do you give them?
We give them bread. Maybe they eat porridge, or we say cocoa, akwasa, hausa cocoa. We eat that one to then tea. That's what.
And with lunch?
Lunch, sometimes we eat jollof, or kenke, or rice and beans, or beans and gari. These are.
And the supper? They eat 3 times a day, right?
Yeah, we eat 3
and
times.
The supper?
Supper to either kenke, gari balls, or rice. Or sometimes we pound fufu for them.
At Adesadao College, our special meal was jollof and chicken on Thursdays. What is your special meal?
This place to our special meal, Sundays, sometimes jollof and corn beef for chicken or egg. That's their special.
So it's on Sundays?
On Sundays.
Supper or lunch?
That's supper.
Oh, okay.
They eat it at lunch and supper. Sometimes we give them fufu on Sundays too.
Wow. We want to go around. We want to have a typical day and typical school life here. So we want to go to the classrooms, the dormitories to have some sneak peek into it. So yes.
Then the challenge, I wanted to talk about the recruitment. We are pleading that they should allow the special schools to recruit members, because now some of them have gone on pension. As I'm telling you, if a mother is taking care of 50 children, it doesn't go well. So we are pleading that they should allow, they should give us quota to recruit. Now we have only one driver. Even the driver came from Holy Child. He came for assurance, but he was working at Holy Child, and other than that, we won't even get somebody to drive her. He said when we came, the bus is not here. The driver sent some of them to the hospital. So now, if there's any errands again for us to run, I have to take it upon myself as a headmistress to drive, and it's not part of as you know, or I have to engage some of the teachers too. And the teacher that you are going to engage to drive, the same teacher has to take care of the children. And you know what will happen if the teacher is not in the classroom. Now I've even sent a teacher to go to the hospital with some of the teachers. So you ask me what's happening to that class. And every class too is more than 10 children in the class. So it's not easy for us. So we are pleading that recruitment with the special schools, they should allow us to recruit.
Ready, go. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. 5, 6, take our sticks. 7, 8, lay the straight. 9, 10, a big fat friend. 9, 10, a big
talking to Madam Agnes Frempoma, and she is the teacher, the class 1 teacher here at Twin City Special School. Madam, we saw you teaching them how to number, how to write numerals and counting. When?
I'm teaching the children how to count and write. Today we are counting and writing numerals 1 and 2.
So just 1 and 2 for the whole day?
The whole day, even we can do it for maybe a week, because we want everybody to apply basic concepts and know they are learning this slow learners. Take them.
About a week to learn how to write 1 and 2.
Even some of them cannot even write.
So you make sure all of them are able to write before you can move on.
Those who can write 1 and 2, then you want to do fantastic. Maybe today. Those who cannot write it.
So it's very difficult teaching them.
To me, I can say it's not all that. By using pictures and concrete objects and involving them, you see that they are doing exactly what
Yeah, so we came here to have look at how they learn, what they are learning today. So that's exactly, we're going to some of the classes as well. They are doing so well. Maths and maybe.
Morning, class.
Good morning, Father. How are you?
I'm fine. And you? So.
Truthfully speaking, it's not easy. It's not easy at all, because we started this thing for class. It's not easy.
So how long does it take to really teach this?
Oh, some are very fast to pick, very, very fast. They'll pick easily, but some can take months or even a year.
So everybody has to be on the same page before you can move on.
Actually, it's for special school, we deal with individualized teaching. So if one person is able to do it, she must not wait for the other person. She must move on while you focus on the other person as well.
So with this class, you don't write anything at all. It's all
Oh,
about.
we do write. You see that they have some book. Some can read. Some can. That's why it's individualized teaching.
So how do you teach them with English or fancy?
We teach from the known to unknown. That is from fancy to English. That's how we do it. You have to, for this book, like this is a fancy book. So they know how to read the fancy before you can bring it to the English for them to understand what they are basically reading.
You are doing a lot, so we came to see what exactly happens in this class. Mass communication.
It's a vocational class, they do a lot. You could see somebody also doing dormant. For he can do the folding and cutting.
Okay.
They are able to sew. This guy can sew this. He can also sew. But the rest can't sew. So he's individualized teacher. So he is doing a different thing. He's doing
Gifty. Wọlé bọ̀ kẹ́sà àti wọlé dà wọlé.
So we are in the dormitories to know how the sleeping arrangements here are done. And just like we spoke to the headmistress, she was talking about house mother, so we want to know which people sleep here, and we are going to do it in the local dialect. What will you know?
Yeah, both yeah.
Now, I have one know that.
But I am from.
And one bed and be a different.
Okay, bed no more from a into more from a war by a more that I say. Nempay from what the shop. Namoya different, more home, you try.
Let's see.
You try or it is a young water that I'm say Caliber, Ibia, and I will let me one over to me. It is all I had them not or before me, dear, over to Wada for one, it's in Ama, 82 in China. What charming emotion one idea. What you want you know, yea, being but only a big, and for Banu up over Matana Panady, and a big one high.
Busy, I found one doing.
But you miss a good on over shut.
And
I him now. I want to see your boys, but different one that do woman on the show. I can tell you, house one, now house two. So no.
It will be a one bed sheet white.
But you know, so I know school, you have to a young part of fine. My home will be by anywhere with there. I answer so no, it's 2 years. And the baby I see, a young part of fine. I hire you wash with the year. You go. She is correct. Correct, the county, where I should one able my
for being fun.
And being from at least I want to show wash. The man and how much should be safe.
And this is the girls' dormitory, and we are here to talk to one of the house mothers. But you wouldn't hear.
Fable Castle.
It's our nation busy for no one. Oh, dinner. One shall do a dinner.
And yet easy.
And then busy, I found some special needs. And the end of the month, there was some son who go on Sunday. I see that nation one.
Open what to make a day. My Obinum or Hoddy want to make a just a walla woman there, Baba. Now, Costis. Binum, dear, want to make a just a walla we be ama.
It was it done a water and being fun one the wasn't paying for the sir. Now, but money therefore, I have so what and then basically for
I have a corabo or one or article go to my full so. Then you be sure want to be full so. This is all that's
in 1 hour. The one so now being found was epileptic and one has to be trouble one do now one my water. I want so dama. Oh, okay.
We took it up, technique. People they came there to November. Still, when I came in, we started doing it. But still we saw that the water drops. And they also came in to renovate it still, so we don't know where the leakage comes. Get an expert to come and look at it for us. We'll be happy.